Controversial cross-dresser Idris Okuneye, popularly known as Bobrisky, was on Friday sentenced to 6 months imprisonment without an option of fine for abusing Nigerian currency. Justice Abimbola Awogboro of a federal high court sitting in Ikoyi Lagos said the jail term would commence from 24th March this year, the day of his arrest. Let's get more on the court proceeding. I'm joined by lawyer and social commentator Bosun Osifowora, who joins me on the news at 7. As a lawyer, how does this judgment resonate with you, getting maximum punishment for a first-time offender who pleaded guilty?
Good evening. Nice to be here. The law is the law, and the law is what it is. And I've had all kinds of comments and commentary since the judgment broke out this afternoon, and people have been like, what did he do? People have been doing it and all that. And you see, one of the things we need to do in this country is actually to make not necessarily a scapegoat out of people, but to actually stamp our foot on the position of the law and what the law says should be. All right, over time, the government has been on about this: stop mutilating the Naira, stop spraying at parties, stop doing all kinds of, mutilation of the Naira, but people don't really adhere. And thank goodness, Idris is quite a popular person, and everybody has been interested in his case, and they've seen how the thing has gone. And I assure you that going forward, things will definitely change from here. Now, as for him being a first offender, the position of the law is clear. The court has a discretion to give either a fine of 50,000 if you contravene Section 21(1) of the CBN Act, which says any person who tampers with a coin or note issued by the bank is guilty of an offense and shall, on conviction, be liable to imprisonment for a term not less than 6 months, or to a fine of not less than 50,000, or to both such fine and imprisonment. So the issue of first-time offender is not here. What stands here is that, is there a law? Yes. Has the law been violated? Yes.
All right.
Has the person been caught?
All
yes.
Right.
So that.
Hold that thought for a minute, Mr. Osifowora. We'll get back to this conversation. Kemi Foladiyemo has more updates on the court sitting today.
Bobrisky was brought into the Federal High Court Ikoyi on Friday by operatives of the EFCC, where he had been held. Upon his arrest and following his conviction, his sentencing, which had been fixed for Tuesday, April the 9th, was stalled due to the Eid al-Fitr public holidays. On April the 5th, Bobrisky had asked for leniency after he pleaded guilty to charges of Naira abuse filed against him by the anti-graft agency. He told the court he was unaware of the laws and acted ignorantly. The cross-dresser also promised to use his social media platforms to educate Nigerians on the illegal act. The court also struck out the money laundering charges, retaining the 4 counts bordering on tampering with and spraying the Naira. The offences, which were said to have been committed multiple times at various social events in Lagos, are punishable under the Central Bank of Nigeria Act by a 6-month jail term or a fine not less than 50,000 Naira, or both jail term and fine.
The controversial cross-dresser Bobrisky has been very open about his transitioning from a man into a woman, but prior to his sentencing before Justice Abimbola Awogboro of the Federal High Court Ikoyi on Friday, the judge asked for his gender. He replied, and I quote, "I am a man." The judge applied the full weight of Section 21, subsection 1 of the CBN Act of 2007 in handing down the 6-month sentencing on Bobrisky, saying this will serve as a deterrent to those fond of abusing and mutilating the Naira. Kemi Foladiyemo, TVC News, Lagos.
Mr. Osifowora, talk to us about what really determines how the judge decides to exercise discretion on the option of fine in a case where, in a few cases preceding this one, we've seen that alternative explored.
All right. Basically, the court has discretion to alternate where a fine or a sentence has been given. And most times when you talk about discretion, I mean, there are plethora of cases that says that even the discretion is not the general discretion that the court can use. The discretion has to be within the law. That was why I stated earlier that if you look at what we have here, Section 21(1) says the person shall be liable first of to 6 months, not less than 6 months imprisonment, or 50,000 Naira fine, or both. So the court has looked at it. If you look at what we have here, we have a 5-count charge, mutilation of different denomination of the Naira by this same person. I think what has happened is this, maybe because of his popularity. Now, everybody is interested. Unfortunately, a lot of people actually thought he was being taken in for the cross-dressing. In fact, people actually played down the spraying and mutilation of the Naira, which is the actual charge here. So everybody thought, well, maybe they're prosecuting him because he's a cross-dresser and, some other things that he claims to be. But that's not the case here. The charges are specific and they speak to what he has done. And he himself pleaded guilty before the court. So at the end of the day, the court just looked at it that, okay, this will serve as a deterrent. He's quite popular, he's well known. And I can assure you, if you go to any party from this weekend going forward, I can tell you people will be circumspect. So it's actually good. So the court has exercised discretion within the law, not outside the law.
But if I can butt in, what do you think are the chances of him getting respite should he decide to, appeal this judgment?
Right now, the court is functus official. That means that the court has given judgment and it's done. The only remedy left to him or for him is, since he now says he's a man, the only remedy left for Idris Bobrisky is that he can appeal. And the process of appeal. That will take quite a while. So at the end of the day, there is no guarantee that the appeal will succeed. But, we'll leave that to my Lord Justices at the Court of Appeal. That's in the event that he appeals. But if he doesn't appeal, he's going to go through the entire length of the 6 months, and we'll definitely see him around October, maybe middle of October. But if he appeals, then if the court listens to his appeal, well, whichever way it goes, at least two things can happen. Maybe his conviction will be quashed at the appellate level. That's one option. And then the sentence, if it's still within time, then he can be let out of prison. But if that doesn't happen, then he will serve the full term and then he becomes a convict forever.
So in another development, Mr. Oshifowora, the Lagos State Special Offences Court sitting in Ikeja granted 50 million Naira bail to the former Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele. He was arraigned on Monday for alleged abuse of office and fraud to the tune of $4.5 billion and 2.8 billion Naira. When you consider, the magnitude of the allegations on this matter, are you optimistic of an expedited case?
So far, the courts have been hands-on the issue of Emefiele. That's one person that, if left to the public court of public opinion, I know you know the verdict already. Now, but basically, as it stands, I'm confident in the court, and we can rest assured that his case will be expedited as fast as possible, and at the end of the day, justice will prevail, because I don't want to preempt the position of the court in this case, unlike the earlier one we just looked at. But in this situation, the court is very hands-on on it, and we will be alive and well to see the position of the law as far as Emefiele and all the charges against him is concerned. You know that this is the only place where he is standing trial. There are a plethora of cases against him at different courts and different times. So it's a case of how far can he go? How far can he run from the law as far as this is concerned?
Boso Oshifowora, lawyer and social commentator, thank you for talking to us.
Most grateful.
And by the way, the defendant, Godwin Emefiele, standing trial, along with one Henry Isioma Omole, had pleaded not guilty to the 26-count charge, after which they applied for bail on liberal terms. Justice Raman Oshode, in his ruling, admitted Mr. Emefiele to 50 million Naira bail with 2 sureties and like sum. The justice held that the sureties must be gainfully employed and have 3 years tax payment with the Lagos state government. He also said the sureties must show proper identification and that they must be registered in the Lagos State Bail Management System. The judge added that he was satisfied with the bail conditions of ₦1 million earlier given to Emefiele's co-defendant, who is standing another charge before Justice Olufunke Sule Hamzat before a Yaba High Court. Justice Oshodi, however, said the bail documents must be transferred to the Special Offences Court and that it must also be registered in the Lagos State Bail Management System.